James Kaufman, World News Report today, October 7th, 2025. Ladies and gentlemen, we've had a very strong magnitude 6.6 earthquake over here, Papua New Guinea, part of really Zealandia Rising, that was with an associated tsunami warning at a depth, according to the USGS, of 99.4 kilometers. It came in as a 6 on the DYFI, as a 6 on the shake map, and, well, we're going to get some additional information. It was on a plate tectonic boundary, or several of them that are trying to find their way, along with under 3 or 4 erupting volcanoes. So this tells us that there's a lot of magma movement under those volcanoes, and they're going to continue to erupt. Jumping from the USGS over to volcanoesandearthquakes.com, you can see that big quake right here, a magnitude 6.6, not the numbers we're looking for ever. You can see that that was on a plate tectonic boundary, and we have, well, 2 volcanoes in minor eruption and 2 in major eruption right under that movement there. And this basically is Zealandia, the 8th continent that's rising out of the sea currently. Let's get some detailed information on that. Here we see the main sources, the USGS. That's going to be 99 kilometers of depth, a 6.6 magnitude. Raspberry shake came in at a 6.7. Wow. The Germans came in at a 6.6. Now the Germans came in at 103 kilometers of depth. The Raspberry shake gave us the old default 10 kilometers of depth. Let's get some detailed information about this very strong earthquake and go from there. Before we do that, I wanted to quickly go over what Zealandia is. Zealandia is referred to the 8th continent. Only 5% of it is extruding from the water. That would be New Zealand and New Caledonia here. And in my opinion, it goes all the way up to Tonga and Fiji here, and all the way over to Papua New Guinea here. And there may or may not be a strait that forms right through Australia and, well, Zealandia. Now, I don't know if this is going to happen in our lifetime, or if it will happen in another million years, or if it will happen at all. But I do know, if I'll look at the light pink line here, New Zealand is trying to make a land grab on this area, calling it their continental shelf so that they can own the resources on this area. Now the problem is first, that encompasses New Caledonia. Second, this is not a continent, so how do you have a continental shelf? Furthermore, how do you have the biggest continental shelf, bigger than any other continent's continental shelf? So they have put a line around the very shallowest part of this continent rising, and they have petitioned the UN to grant it to them as territorial waters, i.e. their continental shelf, so that they may own the natural resources, of course, under it. All right, head over to volcanodiscovery.com, a very strong 6.6 magnitude earthquake, and we're just west of La Morobe province, Papua New Guinea. And if y'all look at that, well, that's going to be the really northwest corner of what I consider Zealandia continent rising. Taking a look at some earthquake details here. It's going to be the USGS main reporting primary source. 188 reports. Not a real populated area. A 6.6 magnitude, 99 kilometers of depth. We knew all that. It also produced or released 7.5 atomic bombs worth of energy. Now that we did not know. The closest volcano is 38 miles away, according to this. It goes right under them. Alright, let's compare some of this earthquake data from different agencies, all associated with the same 6.6 magnitude earthquake. Start with the USGS, a 6.6, 99 kilometers of depth. Raspberry Shake, a 6.7 default depth, 10 kilometers. How do we know it's default? 10 kilometers plus the asterisk, just to make sure. A depth given as 10 kilometers often means that the depth of the quake could not be determined with sufficient accuracy. Alright, then we have 103 kilometers of depth, 6.6 from the Germans. Again, we have the Indonesian folks coming in at a 6.6, 119 kilometers in depth. After that, we have the French coming in at 6.41. If they were ever in the ballpark, it would be amazing, right? 98 kilometers of depth. Wonder where they got that. Then we have the Incorporated Research Institution for Seismology at 6.6, 99 kilometers of depth. Sounds like they followed the USGS to me. We have Australia coming in at 6.6, 94 kilometers of depth. And let's see, we have the Italians coming in at 6.7, 77 kilometers of depth. Boy, it changes from 6.6 to 7.7 quick, doesn't it? And next up, and finally, with the Europeans coming in at 6.6, 98 kilometers of depth. It's like they piggybacked the USGS and probably haven't been to work in months, weeks, decades. Alright, we did have an associated tsunami warning with that. I did want to check the National Data Buoy Center. We don't have any buoys in event mode anywhere around that area or any other areas around the globe currently. So that's nothing but a good thing. And to summarize, we had a magnitude 6.6 earthquake, considered very strong. It did come with an associated tsunami warning. We did check the buoys. We didn't see any tsunami created whatsoever. The depth was 99.4 kilometers. This quake happened on a plate boundary where several are breaking apart and reforming. And below, 3 or 4 volcanoes that are currently in minor or major eruptions. So what we saw here is going to continue, period. With that said, God bless you and yours. Please share, subscribe, and always remember, anything's possible. Bizarro world.